Let's start with this. So, Logan Paul put out this statement today, basically saying, it's time, I'm finally doing that refund that I pledged like a year ago. It's go time, baby. Your prayers have been answered, Saint Logan is here. And since there's so many people who've been vocal about him being a scammer, me being one of them, a lot of people took this and immediately started attacking me going, Charlie, you feel bad yet? You called this guy a scammer, but look at what he's doing. He's the good guy. And it's like, brother, get off the stupid juice. He is literally paying people back for a scam he ran. He's not the good guy. He's doing the bare minimum. And it's kind of deep. So, I'll just read through most of this here before getting into the nitty-gritty, because there's a lot more than meets the eye. Also, the timing couldn't have been worse because just yesterday, that clip of me talking about how Logan Paul will never pay anyone back got posted on the second channel. So less than 24 hours later, he comes around and he's like, take this, Charlie. Here it is. But let me make this clear. Anyone who gets paid back through this, it is a good thing. But there are some strings attached. Let's go through it. Today, I'm incredibly happy to announce that I am delivering on my promise to buy back base egg and base animal CryptoZoo NFTs for their original purchase price. This buyback program is being carried out at eggNFTbuyback.com. Claims can be submitted through this site through February 8th. And then he explains about CryptoZoo and its original vision, which fucking flopped, floundered, and it was a huge, messy explosion of dog shit. Watch CoffeeZilla's series on it. It explains everything really well. Logan continues to fall back on, he's basically blameless. It was all everybody else. He's, the misunderstood hero of the story. It's all bad actors, and he's going to take a real stand against them. Now, in CoffeeZilla's video, Logan, if I remember correctly, didn't take money from it the same way that the other people did, but he's not blameless. He is far from it. But anyway, he goes into his hardline stance. I have filed a lawsuit in federal court in Texas to hold the bad actors accountable. It's a 25-page lawsuit. Public can be found here. It's not based just on the snippets of conversation taken out of context. This lawsuit is the result of an exhaustive investigation that included the review of the entirety of conversations tracking nefarious trading activity related to the project and nefarious trading activity taken behind our backs without our knowledge and with the intention of defrauding us all. As for the game itself, unfortunately, it will not be released. Shocker. I personally spent 400 grand to have it developed, and after its completion in early 2023 and some further diligence, unfortunately there are too many regulatory hurdles that would need to be cleared that I did not originally understand and would ultimately delay this buyback even further. E3, we were all so hyped for CryptoZoo to come out, and now it's not coming. This buyback is a way for me to make whole those who intended to play CryptoZoo. The buyback is not intended to compensate those who gambled on the crypto market and lost. So when I first read that, this was a massive red flag, and it makes me believe a lot of people didn't even get this far, because that is so fucked up. He's basically victim blaming them like, oh, hey, if you guys gambled on this, that's like your fault. Like, I can't control your stupid investment ideas. Just because I may have led you to believe it's a great idea doesn't mean it's like my fault. You're stupid, you gambled, and you lost, loser. That's a really bold thing to say, especially when, like, behind the scenes, this was very clearly designed to be an investment vehicle. It's important to remember that the Zoo token was created to support CryptoZoo game and its players. It was not intended as an investment vehicle as outlined in the white paper. Bunch of baloney. Actual fucking horseradish. But he is issuing refunds to a certain extent. That's a W. As long as the victims get their money back, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. Now, I didn't go here. I didn't look at it, but others did. So Attorney Tom, who is the one involved in the lawsuit that Logan Paul's actively engaged in, he represents a lot of the victims. He was excited by this until he got into the more fine print of what this means. So if you go through this buyback and you're one of the victims, you waive your right to go after him anymore. So he's covering his own ass through this. So it's not exactly, the cleanest, no strings attached protocol. It's got a little mud on the boots here. There's a little stink to this shit. And that's something CoffeeZilla also called out. He said, making a video on the Logan Paul situation, super happy some of the victims will get refunded a year later, but let's not pretend there isn't ulterior motives. Logan is being crushed in a lawsuit right now, referring to this one, I believe. As usual, he's trying to save his own skin. And then he highlights what I mentioned about waiving any actual or anticipated claims against Logan Paul. So you can get your refund, but you're not having your cake and eating it too. You can no longer come after him for getting scammed. And you're not... I highly recommend watching Attorney Tom's video. I'm not going to play it in its entirety or anything, but you're not getting all of your money back per se. And that's something Attorney Tom explains. You are getting some of your money back. Like, it is a refund to a certain extent, but it's not like this all-encompassing refund that I think a lot of people were expecting. Imagine trusting Logan Paul. Well, it's not even a matter of trust. Like, he pledged that he was going to be giving refunds, and he is, to his credit, giving money back. Just not the cleanest way of doing so, I would say. Thanks to Prime Scoob. There was definitely a better way of doing it. Definitely should have been sooner as well. But at least if the victims are happy, then that's what matters at the end of the day. How many people even played this? 0, because the game was a non-functional pile of trash. Why did KSI say, "What will haters say now?" People are haters because they want their money back from a scam. Yeah, that was a really weird tweet. I was super shocked to see that too. It's not like... Oh, I didn't even realize this was a response to that, but it's not like people are just blindly hating on Logan. He scammed his audience in a huge way. And they're like, "Can we get our money back that you promised us, please?" Like, fucking groveling at his feet because so many people lost so much money. It's not just like blindly hating on him because they don't like his, signature move in the WWE or something. It's a very legitimate reason to not like Logan Paul. So that was a very odd tweet from KSI for sure about this thing. As I mentioned, CoffeeZilla stated that he'll be making a new video on the Logan Paul situation with this new update. So you already know I'm going to be glued to that like a child to their iPad while waiting for their mother to finish her hair appointment. I will be keeping my finger on the pulse there to see what he talks about in regards to this. Personally, I think that Logan Paul could have done more quicker. I think it's a little scummy to only recoup a portion of the people that he scammed. I know it's good overall because he is giving some of the money back, but as Attorney Tom mentioned in his video, it's not going to be the whole kit and caboodle, it's only a portion of it, and then he kind of blames them for the rest of their losses they may have incurred from this, even though it is Logan Paul's fault. He led them down that path, so I really feel it should have been his responsibility to make them whole again. And by giving them their refund, waiving their rights to go after him, I think is, again, just a covering your own ass thing, which isn't surprising given Logan Paul's reputation. But I think it could have been done much better. I am still happy that at least some of the money is going back to the victims here. I know that'll be extremely helpful to a lot of them. I just wish it was more and better because it is, again, his fault entirely. And he has the means to do so. He is now at the forefront of the WWE. He is a superstar, and he now owns a multi-billion-dollar company with Prime. He could absolutely afford to correct this mistake that he made and finally do right by the people that he wronged. But again, just to reiterate, I am thrilled that he is giving some money back to the victims of his Compilation scam. It took a very long time, but as the old saying goes, better extremely late, very super duper late, way tardy than never. So that's a good thing. So yeah, I just wanted to give you the little surprising update to this Compilation story. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. There's a new trend going on right now that's blowing up faster than the Harlem Shake. It's called getting blocked by Logan Paul on Twitter because you mentioned Compilation. And you don't have to be a high caliber top tier athlete in order to participate in this new fun sport. All you've got to do is just mention Compilation and Logan Paul will come out of the shadows in order to block you because that word is his kryptonite. That word is like in all of the Conjuring movies when you say the demon's name and it's like, oh no, retreating back to hell. That's Compilation to Logan Paul. It's his boogeyman. So he's blocking everyone that mentions it. I'm sure all of you remember Compilation because it is still to this day, I believe, the biggest YouTuber-led scam. CoffeeZilla exposed all of it over 6 months ago. Logan Paul initially tried to play tough guy, get a little bit of hardball going here, gritting his teeth and saying, CoffeeZilla's a bad man and I'm coming for you legally with a smackdown. but then quickly gave up on that whole facade and just said, like, actually, thank you so much, CoffeeZilla, for opening my eyes. I was such a goofy little goober. I'm going to issue refunds to everyone that was affected by this that doesn't want to wait for us to finish the project. The project was supposed to be this absolute dog shit game that was a horrible idea from the start, but a lot of people bought into it because of Logan Paul's reputation. But he had promised $1.8 million at least in refunds to these victims. And it's been 6 months, and he hasn't done any of what he promised. He hasn't given anyone any of their money back. It's been complete radio silence with people begging for updates on when the refunds are coming. But unfortunately, Logan Paul's lips are sealed tighter than my ass after drinking a chocolate milk. And a lot of people have been taking notice of this recently, because he had a huge PR win with people like, Logan Paul's at least owning up to his mistakes and trying to make it right with this whole CryptoZoo thing. And he's never followed through on it, so a lot of people are wondering, well, what the fuck is happening here? Did he ever plan on paying anyone back? Is he ever paying anyone back? This all seems like a bunch of baloney now. So a lot of people have been calling him out for it, which has led to this whole trend of people getting blocked by Logan Paul for just even daring to utter the words CryptoZoo. And CoffeeZilla made a follow-up video last night on it. CoffeeZilla had even promised that he'd follow up in 6 months after his whole expose on the massive scam that Logan Paul was running. Unlike Logan Paul, CoffeeZilla keeps his promises. That doomsday counter hit 0 and this video dropped. In the video, CoffeeZilla shows that he has been actively talking at Logan Paul, trying to get, information on when the refunds are coming. So he'd show text messages where CoffeeZilla reached out to Logan a month after his promise of the $1.8 million to victims, just kind of asking for an update or what his plan was. He got no response. He then followed up in the next month, 2 months now. Since then, still no response from Logan. Every time he'd try to follow up with Logan to try and get information on this refund, he was met with just crickets. Until eventually someone from Logan Paul's legal team reached out to CoffeeZilla to say, like, yeah, we're still thinking about how to do that. I don't know who Logan Paul hires or how he's so good at finding incompetence. Like, he hired literal fucking criminals to run his CryptoZoo scam with him, and now he's hiring people that are criminally stupid. How could these lawyers reach out and say that they still don't know how to refund? Logan Paul in January had somewhat of a semblance of a plan, with committing $1.8 million to victims, as well as the other protocol for, like, burning the base CryptoZoo, whatever, all that dog shit. And now we're 6 months into the future here, and you're telling me this whole team can't bash their heads together, have their neurons fire, and come up with some kind of solution to giving people their money back for this fucking scam? That's baffling. Again, either they're criminally stupid, or this is all just trying to stall, or there's not any intention at all here in paying people back. Personally, I feel Logan Paul never planned on giving people their money back, but like everyone else, I was at least willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that it was coming at some point. But 6 months is unacceptable. That time frame, that timeline, is not by any means sensible. They still don't even have a plan in place that they're communicating with the community. They don't have any idea on how they're going to give this $1.8 million back to the community. So they're still at literally step 1 after 6 months here, post Logan Paul's public promise of refunds. I really think CoffeeZilla's final statement in this video sums it up best.
This isn't worth your time. Getting publicly flogged like this every 6 months? What are we going to be doing this in a year? No. Okay? It's not worth your time. It's barely worth my time. Just please pay the people back what you owe. Give them a real timeline, a real plan, and then we can all go back to pretending you've changed.
That's 100% right on the nose right there. He pinned the tail on the donkey. Pretending that Logan Paul's changed. The ultimate scam, even bigger than CryptoZoo. Now, since the entire blow-up of the CryptoZoo scam, Logan Paul's image has been largely positive, because he publicly ate shit, said that he was going to pay people back, even though he never did, still hasn't. But people gave him the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, look, he's trying to change and move on from this and grow from it. And he's a superstar in the WWE. He is absolutely loved in the sport. And Prime is such a wild success. So most people have a very positive impression of Logan Paul, so much so that he's developed his own little cult of brainwashed zombies who now are fighting against people like CoffeeZilla and others calling him out for CryptoZoo. The argument they make, and it's not really an argument, it's actual just drivel. They're actually just vomiting nonsense, but what they say is that anyone that's still talking about CryptoZoo is just clout chasing off Logan Paul, and they're just dragging it out and milking it, which is such a wild take. Logan Paul ran what is basically a real-world RuneScape scam, like armor trimming, giving him money for nothing. And then him laughing at you for it. Him and all of his buddies laughing at you for it, basically. And his fans are just saying, move on, get over it. It's not that big of a deal. To say that to victims that lost so much money on Logan Paul's scam is just disgusting. Excusing blatant crimes just because you like his drink or you like him in the WWE. It's just so stupid. I understand a lot of people that are saying those things, like, in defense of Logan Paul, even though it's not really a defense, just saying, like, yeah, he scammed you, get over it, and spitting on them. Not really a defense, but I know a lot of the people saying just to, you know, let it go are young. But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be shamed for this absolute brain-dead take. It's so stupid. Even kids should be able to recognize that someone shouldn't be able to get away with scamming people like that. So I just want to point out that ridiculous state of affairs where so many people are just completely okay with Logan Paul being the face of the biggest YouTuber-led scam of all time just because they really like him in the WWE or like Prime. He should still be held accountable. He has not fulfilled his end of his promise. He has not refunded the victims. He has done nothing for any of them, and he's just blocking anyone that brings it up. So, it is totally justifiable to keep calling it out and trying to get him to actually follow through on what he said he was going to do. But I still don't think he ever planned on paying anybody back. I really don't. I think what he was really hoping for was that it just be brushed under the rug over time. People would stop caring about it because on the internet, drama is usually just kind of flavor of the week shit. So the whole CryptoZoo scam was a big talking point for like a week, maybe 2 weeks, and he was just hoping like if he could just have a PR win by, you know, saying how he's changed and he's going to give people their money back for this, then people would consider that good enough and just forget in the future. But luckily the chess master here blundered because this was such a massive scam that people didn't forget. There are so many victims that still haven't got their money back. It's very easy to find everyone affected by it. Thus, a lot of people have kept their eyes on it. When is Logan Paul paying people back? Has Logan Paul paid people back yet? No. Well, is he planning to? No. Okay. What's going on here? So people have stayed on top of this story for the last 6 months because they want it to have a happy ending. Most people want the victims here to get their money back, and they want Logan Paul to follow through on his promise, but he's not right now. So, I wanted to talk about this just a little bit. CoffeeZilla made a great video on it that I highly recommend checking out if you want to see exactly where things have been for the last 6 months in this story. But overall, the spoiler alert is Logan Paul has still not refunded anyone, and that is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. You can't just keep blocking people on Twitter forever. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. January 3rd is a date that had more importance to me than my own birthday, because that was the day Logan Paul said he was going to respond to CoffeeZilla's investigative series on his CryptoZoo project. Throughout a year-long investigation conducted by CoffeeZilla, he produced 3 videos that highlighted that CryptoZoo was a scam, and told the story of tons of victims who lost money and went over how it got to that point and what went on behind the scenes. Logan Paul stated that he would be responding to all the allegations on January 3rd, and he did, in a remarkably baffling way. So January 3rd rolled around, and it was this very sad wet fart of a response from Logan Paul. He released a 7-minute video where he addressed none of the actual claims that had evidence backing them and avoided all of the actual hard-hitting facts that CoffeeZilla was providing without giving his side of anything. Instead, he just started attacking the character of CoffeeZilla and throwing out wild accusations with nothing to back up his claims in his own video, which makes him very hypocritical in that sense, such as him stating at the very beginning that CoffeeZilla's been getting information wrong because he's turned into a gossip channel without ever showing any of the things he's gotten wrong recently, and then saying that he tried to work in law enforcement but was turned away for being not truthful and his work often being speculative, of which he provides no sources to where he got that, so I imagine he reached into his colon and pulled it out like a little dingleberry. So, his video wasn't the best when it came to proving his innocence, so he then released a podcast episode yesterday going over it deeper. However, it's not deep at all. this shit is shallower than a micro penis. It doesn't go anywhere. It's still the very surface level shit where he doesn't actually talk about any of the evidence-backed claims that CoffeeZilla makes against him, his team, and his project. It's an hour and 20 minutes of them trying to play the victim here, and it's so shameless at one point that he even begins reading a letter that he supposedly received from a fan that made him tear up, talking about how great of a person Logan is and how he has such a kind heart, and then Logan tears up on the podcast again. None of this has anything to do with the CoffeeZilla investigation or CryptoZoo, so it just seems like he's farming sympathy points for some reason. It's just not good at all. This is actually significantly worse than his 7-minute response video. Now, he does reinforce that he will be suing CoffeeZilla for defamation for his investigative series on CryptoZoo, which leads me to believe that Logan Paul is truly surrounded by absolute fucking troglodytes. There is nobody in Logan Paul's immediate circle that gives him good advice. A defamation case is extremely hard to win in even the best of circumstances. But you have a shady crypto company that a ton of people lost a ton of money on, and you're suing a guy who investigated it for a year and provided nothing but an unbiased, objective look at the facts. No matter how you want to spin it, it is objective as it gets. Logan Paul seems to believe that CoffeeZilla highlighted him as a malicious, evil supervillain, which are his words, not mine. But in the actual investigation videos, you can see CoffeeZilla multiple times mentions that he can't pin the blame on any one person, and in fact focuses more highly on the other two people, Jake the Crypto King and Eddie Ibanez, than Logan Paul. So, to win a defamation case, you not only have to prove that the information is incorrect, you have to prove that it was knowingly incorrect by the person who put it out there publicly. You have to prove there was malicious intent. You would have to somehow prove that CoffeeZilla knew all of this information was wrong, published it anyway for the sole purpose of hurting your image. And that's a very difficult thing to prove, because you can make tons of arguments that CoffeeZilla, even if things are wrong, which so far Logan Paul's proven nothing wrong, aside from one of the victims in the testimonials being shady, aside from that he's proven nothing, he would then have such a solid defense regardless, because he investigated and just provided like facts of information he gathered from Logan Paul's own team. So he would have a very strong case of, this isn't defamation, I was doing a public service by bringing all of this information to light. It's an unwinnable case for defamation, and I have to imagine Logan Paul knows that and just wants to bully CoffeeZilla legally and cost him a lot of money to hurt him, which is fucked up. That is malicious and supervillain-like, Logan. Of course, I'm no lawyer, but I am at least somewhat familiar with how defamation cases usually go, because when someone's feelings get hurt, they always try and sue for defamation for some reason. It's pretty cringe. Now, another thing that I want to mention before showing the podcast moments is Logan Paul is so delusional that he actually is using the defense of him hiring criminals makes him innocent. So in his response video, he's like, "You talked to my developer that stole the code for $1 million. Did you know that that developer is actually a convicted criminal?" And then showcases his criminal history, as if that makes Logan Paul look better or innocent. Logan, you hired 3 criminals to run this with you. That makes you look much, much worse and much more guilty. Oh, no, guys, it's not me that was bad. I hired 3 criminals. I brought together the Suicide Squad here to run this crypto company. It's them that were bad. It's not my fault. Why are you getting mad at me? I just hired the criminals. Obviously, you're responsible for the team you put together. You are liable for 2 of them stealing $7.7 million from the project here. That is your fault. I don't know why you keep falling back on, no, it's just that those criminals that did it, not me. Like, it's such a fucking stupid defense. I already did get kind of the spoilers that he really just repeats what he said in his video, which is nothing. Even in this hour and 20 long podcast, he doesn't actually debunk any of CoffeeZilla's claims.
Always question.
What was the question? He was just like spitting a fact. Now I know these are just like his lackeys, and his point is like, this is all wrong, but it wasn't even a question. He's just like, he's just like, right. Like, the only thing he failed to mention there is that it was a scam. But everything else, yeah, I mean, he's like, right. It's not like you were going to talk about CryptoZoo the next day or something. If CoffeeZilla never made the video telling the victim's story, this would have stayed just buried, fading into obscurity.
Here are some receipts after he released his series.
Logan, big guy. Coffee already posted the receipts. He reached out to you directly on Instagram, which was your only means of communication, by the way, since you blocked him, over a year ago. When that was a dead end, he reached out to your manager multiple times asking to talk directly to you. Jeff left him on red. It wasn't until every other avenue was burned that he called your manager, Jeff. Those receipts were already posted. But you are right, he did reach out again on December 24th to your email, again, after exhausting everything else, again, because you have him blocked. But that's just so transparently weak. Your offer was for him to fly out to your studio to do it, so couldn't the same argument be made for you? Like, that's not a strong point that you, for some reason, harp on so heavily. His offer was to just do a general video call. In fact, CoffeeZilla doesn't even do those interviews, video calls, on his main channel. He does it on a secondary platform. So it wouldn't even be milking views or anything out of it. It's literally just getting the truth.
Hey, Steven, just wanted to put my response to your scam allegations on your radar, linked below. Even though you broke laws, hardly substantiated your evidence, fabricated dangerously misleading falsehoods, and wrongfully accused me of scamming my fans, I'd still love to host you on Impulsive, again, unmonetized. It can even be one-on-one.
Hardly substantiated your evidence. I'm going to give him leeway on the breaking laws because even I didn't realize Texas was a one-party consent law when it came to recording conversations on the phone. So he didn't break laws. So that's blatantly wrong, but I'm going to give him leeway because I also didn't realize that that was legal in Texas. But this, fucking yikes. And fabricated, dangerously misleading falsehoods. What, talking to your team of criminals? Like, directly? What do you mean? Oh, no. Oh, this is so much worse than I would have expected. Just because Logan didn't make the money doesn't mean it wasn't a scam. You know who did make money and 7.7 million's worth? 2 of the other criminals he hired to run it with him, Mike. Yes, it is a scam, even though Logan didn't make the money off of it. Holy shit. I am going to assume this had to have been recorded a week ago, or longer. There's no way he recorded this and released it today, after his response video and the reception and all of the points made about it. I refuse to believe he is that blissfully ignorant of what's going on. This has to be old. This is wildly bad. This is just... So the setup he's doing here is Coffee refused to come on Impulsive, so instead I'm gonna have my sidekick here make up easy softball questions that we think CoffeeZilla may have asked if he was lobotomized. And then Logan tackles those easy ones. For instance, what is a scam? Well, by the definition of a scam, Logan, did you make money off of this? And I already know the answer. Well, no, Mike. In fact, CoffeeZilla even corroborated this. I never sold the coin. That doesn't mean it's not a scam, Logan. Thus, everything CoffeeZilla said was accurate. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Doesn't mean it's not a scam, bro. Talk about the leaked group texts about how this was supposed to just emulate another lucrative project to exploit your fans for money as quickly as possible off as minimal effort as possible. And then talk about all of the meeting memos about market manipulation and what's an acceptable amount to sell on any given day for the percentage increase, or for the percentage effect on the overall tokenomics. Get into the market manipulation stuff from the actual group chats, man. That's what I'd like to hear.
That seemed just like a kill shot to this entire thing.
Yeah, maybe. If your brain is very smooth, I suppose. Well, everyone may have lost money, and the entire goal may have been to just exploit us for money, but Logan didn't sell. So I guess we weren't scammed. I can see how your mind worked in that way. What are you talking about? It was stock images. It has nothing... Even if the art was bad, if it was clear it was actually custom art by real artists, then the critique would just be, yeah, the art's kind of lame. The critique is, the handmade art claim is wrong. As in, you're using stock images. What is he talking about? His claims were literally handmade art, and he talked about how many artists he had on the team. But it was revealed that it was mainly stock photos. Now, the hybridization of the art with a panda with a long elephant nose, maybe you had someone drum that up in 5 minutes in Photoshop, I guess? But, like, even that's a stretch. Discussion he has that's insightful at all. I know that he says that CoffeeZilla is milking victims of his scam, which is a wild thing to say. Just get over it. You lost money. Stop milking it. That is what. Where is that actually? I'll pull that up in case any of you haven't seen that. Where in this podcast is it? Jesus Christ, Mike. Logan, when we were in Qatar, in that spa, surrounded by topless women, drinking expensive champagne, I looked over, you checked your phone, CoffeeZilla made a video with your name in it. You knew it was about Crypto0, and I saw, through the windows of your soul, I saw your heart broke, Logan. So I did what any good friend would do. I put your whole sack into my mouth, and I didn't want to, Logan. Trust me, I didn't want to. But I put it in my mouth where it was nice and warm, and I knew I could comfort you in this time of need. And I'm not trying to make it seem like the victim, but you ruined our entire vacation, CoffeeZilla. All of it. Ruined it. Ruined it. Did you watch the video? I have to wonder. I actually thought he did a really great job of talking about the other ones as being the really malicious, evil supervillains, and you being the bumbling buffoon. You played the comic relief of the scam, Logan. I have to wonder if he even watched it. Coffee focused very heavily on Crypto King and Eddie. You were just the dummy. Like the actual fucking dummy. With Prime alone makes that in like a week. People are fighting each other in the UK for Prime. He could absolutely afford just to give that back. Be like, you know what, guys? I really do like care about you. I'm not just, this isn't just lip service. This wasn't supposed to be a scam. Things got out of control. You lost money. Real people were hurt. And I can't live with that anymore. I'm giving you your initial investments back. And since it's on the blockchain, you have the ledger. You can easily see who invested what so you don't get scammed by people pretending to be investors. And you could easily just give them it back and make it whole. But he won't. He could afford to, though. 100% he could afford to. No, but Charlie, he takes pictures with his fans. That's a good point. A picture is worth more than the millions of dollars that they've lost. Hey, babe. I know I lost money with Dink Doink from Logan Paul last time. Well, I did it again with Crypto0, but I got this dope-ass picture with him. Like, look at how happy we look together. What do you mean you're They're called victims, Logan.
Part 6 is the more he says, and the more he continues to spread this misinformation that this was any sort of con or scam, the more I have for the lawsuit that I am filing. The defamation.
I do... The disconnect in his brain is wild because he puts it on this lens like the guy, CoffeeZilla, is just someone that doesn't like him, as opposed to a guy who investigated this fully. So he truly believes that everyone that he showcases and every story he tells has to be by a paid actor and can't comprehend that real people lost a lot of money from his project. Or maybe he can and he pretends to be stupid. Couldn't really tell you. But yeah. He just talks about the people losing money as being milked, or them milking it. Yo, you got scammed. Get over it. I really do think Stan's had the best take on it. Like, if he was Logan Paul's guy, he would have advised to just ignore it. And he's absolutely right. I thought the right play would just be make everyone whole again, refund them. I think that's the morally correct thing to do. But if Logan just wanted the easiest way and just to get out of this as quickly as possible, if he never said anything, he would have been fine, actually. But now he's posted this on both of his main platforms, Logan Paul channel and now Impulsive. All of his audience is now aware of this. Now they've probably watched CoffeeZilla's video, and with all of that evidence, they're going to look at Logan Paul and be like, fuck, this guy hasn't proven his innocence at all. He hasn't even mentioned any of the claims. So he really fucked himself. If he had just ignored it, his audience would have never known, never cared, and he would have been in the same situation. He would have been fine. His fans are definitely not watching CoffeeZilla's video. I disagree. So I actually think since now he's posted it 2 times, they're going to be like, what is he talking about? What are these scam allegations? I bet it's a bunch of baloney, a bunch of fucking barnacles. Logan would never do that. Let me see what this is. And they'll watch it for even a second, like hate watch it. But then Coffee immediately starts making points and they're like, interesting. His audience, no. I don't know, maybe I'm now skewed on what I think his audience is after the CoffeeZilla videos because everyone that he interviewed that got scammed for a lot of money was not a kid. They were young adults. So now maybe I'm under the false idea that his audience is older than they are. I always thought he had like a Disney Channel audience, but after the CoffeeZilla investigation, I became convinced they were older. Plus, he's in the WWE now, which is mainly older audience. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, fully. What I wanted is for him to actually tackle the evidence. I would really like to hear from his side, if there is one. Right now, I'm starting to genuinely doubt he has any legs to stand on there on this situation. But, who knows? You didn't see him push Prime at the end.
You look like a...
Yeah, Prime needed an extra push. It's only on his goddamn phone case on the table, them drinking it constantly, them fiddling with it constantly. Yeah, it needed that extra push. Yeah, surely I needed to see that. It's finally here. A response more hyped up than the Avatar sequel. Logan Paul is addressing the massive 3-part investigation conducted by CoffeeZilla, exposing Crypto.Zoo as a potential scam. Logan Paul was not too happy about that nomenclature, so he made a video pretty much doubling down on everything about Crypto.Zoo never being a scam, while admitting to hiring criminals for the team and trying to poke holes in CoffeeZilla's credibility, but without ever providing evidence for why CoffeeZilla's no longer credible. It's not the best response, but it was enough to win over a lot of people's trust somehow, even though Logan Paul never actually addresses any of Coffee's claims with the evidence Coffee provides. Instead, he fixates on a couple of small things, none of which actually contribute to disproving anything from CoffeeZilla's video series or his year-long investigation, and instead just kind of serves to assassinate CoffeeZilla's character, and then throws the condom on the floor and says he's taken CoffeeZilla to court. I'll see you in court, bub. He makes it clear that he will be pursuing legal action against Coffee for this investigation, so overall, very curious to see how this all plays out from here. I'm going to show you his response video as well as me going over it, because like I said, he never actually addresses any of the evidence-backed claims that CoffeeZilla provides from his investigation. He doesn't do anything to prove his innocence. All he does is talk about Crypto.Zoo's coming. I'll make sure of it. What's he going to give us? Well, so far it looks like he's given us just barely enough nutrients to survive. Like, I'm still hungry. CoffeeZilla released a 3-part series on an investigation that spanned the course of a year. Logan Paul gave us a 7-minute appetizer that he's trying to serve us as the entree. Like, come on, there's no meat on these bones here. Let's ride.
CoffeeZilla. I watched your 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money. While you're
I immediately already hate that start. CoffeeZilla's entire brand is all about exposing scams in the space. You yourself commended him for his work ethic and his, like, actual great content. And you have immediately wiped your ass with that phony statement. What an awful start. We are 7 seconds into this and it's already a terrible start. You've already exposed yourself for one lie already. You called yourself a fan and how Steven always gets it right. Until now. And now all of a sudden it's all about views because of your name. Yucky.
For views and money. While your work used to be impartial, your addiction to clicks has clouded your judgment and you've made very real errors with very real repercussions. Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation. So in this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. You see?
Interesting. Because he gets like the whole story even from the people he's exposing. He directly talked to, like, Amio Talio for Paradox Metaverse and stuff. I am curious which ones he's referring to. That's a bold statement. Do you have anything to back that up, Logan? Is that in here somewhere? Spoiler alert, no. This is just a plot thread with no closure here. He says that he's been making very real errors as he's morphed into more of a gossip channel, yet provides nothing to substantiate that claim. No evidence. He just says, he's getting things wrong now. Source? I made it the fuck up. Trust me, bro. That's the source. Like, that is laughable. You can't state that, you can't make that claim and have nothing to back it up. Besides this situation, which you're claiming is wrong, what else? You're saying that now, as he's gotten more popular, he's no longer impartial, he's more of a gossip channel that's completely fine with getting facts wrong. Can you show me something that proves that statement from you? You didn't. Do you have anything, or are you just pulling it out of your asshole?
You see, CoffeeZilla tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance. But as opposed to just telling you, I'm going to show you some of the core discrepancies that I caught.
Oh, that's such a big claim. Whoa, the legendary double fist into the butthole of wild claims with no evidence, huh, Logan? A bold maneuver. Now he says that he tried to work with law enforcement but was often deemed not anchored in truth, or the work was speculative. Do you have anything to back that up anywhere? You making that statement piqued my interest, and I feel like I did more investigative work on me just being curious than you did for your whole response video, because I reached out to CoffeeZilla and talked about some of the claims here. And CoffeeZilla was as confused as everyone else when you talked about this one, about wanting to work with law enforcement. According to CoffeeZilla, he's never wanted to work with law enforcement, never has tried to, and in fact the only time he's ever had any communication with law enforcement is when they approached him to hand over some of his evidence on a case. So I don't know where the fuck this is coming from.
Code fled to Switzerland and held it hostage for $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for—
Sounds like a good member of the CryptoZoo
obstructing
team.
the legal process. I can see why you kept him anonymous.
Who we'll be calling Z here.
I guess among many things, had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits.
Why is he on your team? In fact, him omitting that detail makes you look a little more competent. Now that I know you hired a fucking criminal to work on the project, I have even less faith in you to make good choices. This doesn't discredit anything. At all, actually. This just makes you look worse.
Or did you just hear what you wanted to hear and moved on? Because even if you're lying to yourself, Steven, you still have to believe it. And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual?
That is what I was thinking.
Kelly? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to be a professional con man that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and—
Hey, who'd you learn that from, Logan? Which source did you learn that information from? Surely it wasn't Steven, since you're talking about how untruthful and how often speculative and wrong it is, so surely you didn't learn that information from Steven, right, Logan?
invest in a cryptocurrency, was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know. Why? Because it was a clear sign that he was also untrustworthy. You seemed 1 second of research would prove that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Basically, nothing worked.
And by the way, Guy, almost all NFTs are just pictures.
No, it's just a picture.
And surely it
So the project sucks. So it's nothing new like you proposed. It is just, again, JPEG on JPEG, and that's it. It's not a game. You're right, NFTs are all worthless pictures, but you were proposing a game. In fact, your friend was like, oh, you're not even talking about this like a project. This is like a game. And your exact words was, it's a game. It's a really, really fun game. But now you're just here saying, it's just pictures. Which is the point everyone was making. It's not a game. It's more just NFT JPEGs that are just stock images. You're contradicting your own sales pitch. So I don't know about this guy. This guy could very well be super untrustworthy. I'll take Logan's word for it here. These were interviews with alleged victims of the rug pull. Now, even if this guy, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt here, even if this guy is a very shady character, he could have still been scammed. It's not mutually exclusive, because he's not the only one. So among the thousands upon thousands of people you scammed, one of them happens to be a douchebag scammer as well. That doesn't discredit the whole point, though. There was like 12 other people he interviewed as well, but even the non-interviewed people, there were tons of victims. Coffee used him as a spokesperson. No, he had like 12 other people there, and he just had his testimonial as part of it.
Right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then more like an internet criminal, post it online.
And it was interesting. It was like
Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized Conman Eddie, lead developer, stole $1.7 million. True or not, when we learned he was a bad actor as well, while myself and Jeff sold nothing and made nothing as verified through investigation and the blockchain.
Jeff, Logan's manager, to my knowledge, never sold. Neither did Logan Paul.
I repeat, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it. And maybe we could have...
Oh, he's throwing it down. I guess to piggyback off that, why didn't you update the community on the project? Why didn't you talk to the community that brought all of this to light, who felt scammed for the last year and has lost tons and tons and tons of money on it? Why have you only ever sent 3 Discord messages, one of them right before posting this video? This is very easy to continue going back and forth with the finger pointing. If it's not a scam and you really are working on it, why the complete radio silence with your community? And even if he was, you can still say, hey, we're going through legal trouble, but we're still working on the game. We're not a scam. We're working on it. And what about the handmade asset, or the handmade art, which was proven to be stock photos? Is he going to address that? This is just too short to address all of the actual evidence that CoffeeZilla submitted.
Talked about this. If you had reached out to me personally, not my manager Jeff, who is not me, Steven, but the first time you did was on Christmas Eve after you released your series so you could rely on false statements and unreliable people used recklessly. That's fine. You've denied my invitation multiple times. You're still invited. It can be a one-on-one. If not, we're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Amen. Damn, that was big. 7 minutes of fury, but not a whole lot of evidence on specific claims, just more broader things. So you hired 2 criminals because you didn't do any amount of background research. Why is there faith in CryptoZoo? Why should there be going forward? How about here? It's coming. How? Have you replaced the 2 criminals? But yeah, he did just he posted in the Discord for the first time in a year right before releasing that. So he has 3 messages in the Discord. One of them was yo, and then the other one was I'm drunk, or I'm sober right now. So he hasn't really been keeping the community up to date with what's going on, which is why for a year now everyone's felt like they've been scammed. 0 apologies, 0 addressing victims, and 0 accountability. Logan accuses me of not reaching out to him directly until December 24th, but doesn't mention I reached out over a year ago prior on Instagram. Not the optimal platform to get a response, but I also don't know how you're supposed to get in touch with someone like Logan Paul either if it's not through his manager. There's no direct means of communication that I know of. It was only after a year of not getting a response that he began calling his manager for answers about CryptoZoo and got comically stupid responses. So now you're admitting like you just didn't see it. Which, I mean, it's through Instagram. It's not optimal, but like, it's not hard to believe that he wouldn't know how to get in contact directly with you if it's not through your manager. That's the whole point of a manager. He could have used Twitter. He's blocked on Twitter. Logan blocked him. Plus, Logan Paul's DMs are closed. I can't DM Logan Paul. No, I don't expect you to see every DM, which is why I reached out to your manager and explicitly said I was trying to reach you because I hadn't gotten a response. I mean, them's the receipts. I mean, yeah, Jeff read it. So, oof. What kind of people is Logan Paul hiring? Literal criminals. He admits to it. He hired a fucking criminal. Well, 2 of them, actually. Well, 3 if you count Crypto King. 3 criminals. He had Eddie, the professional con man, who was just a blatant con man. I don't know how anyone on Logan Paul's team could hear this guy's story and think for a second he's real. He claimed to have won the fucking 2018 Super Bowl at the Philadelphia Eagles and claimed to be like a hacker responsible for AOL hacking. And also a CIA operative. And also works closely with billionaires and shit. Like, it takes minutes to deduce that this guy's probably not the real deal. And then, I don't know why he ever teamed up with Jake the Crypto King. That guy is just an actual serial scammer. I hope that he does talk more on Impulsive because, like I said, he didn't tackle specific claims with evidence such as all of the text messages and all of the actual statements from the group meetings that I believe Jake the Crypto King provided. where it showcased his, like, the whole team's motives behind the project, as well as market manipulation and then everything falling apart behind the scenes. He doesn't tackle the handmade art assets being just blatantly false and provably wrong. Apparently, I didn't do the research myself, but from all the evidence, seems pretty cut and dry. He didn't tackle the actual specific claims on the project. He's going more big picture with it, but he focused in on some really small ones, I think. Again, this guy being a scammer and also getting scammed by Compilation doesn't really prove a point other than this one guy is a piece of shit who also got scammed by my project. He lost money on it just like everyone else. You shouldn't have been in your video. And that's fair. Definitely not a good spokesperson giving testimonials if he's also not a good person. But it also doesn't discredit all of the true victims that are there. But he doesn't prove his innocence here either. This is still a project that should have no backers. He hired 3 fucking criminals to run it with him. There's no amount of background checking, there's no communication, everyone did lose money on it. There is no reason that this should continue to exist. What he should do is apologize to everyone that lost money and just fucking refund their investments. Just eat shit on it and move on, if you want to continue to try and have a good reputation. Even if it wasn't designed to be a scam, which, again, all of those group chat messages as well as everything provided from Jake, I believe, seems like from the beginning it was designed to just be a money-making exploit. But even if that wasn't the point, everyone did lose money on it. It is still in a non-functional state overall for the majority of your users. Do you think there is anything Logan can actually take legal action on? I don't think so. I don't see how he could, if I'm being honest. I don't really think there was anything necessarily defamatory about CoffeeZilla's video, and I don't think that's what he's going to go for. He's going to go for the unethical I think it is like actually illegal to record a private phone call conversation. He's going to go for that angle, talking about an illegally recorded phone call with his manager. So if he is going for something legal, I think that's the angle he'll take because he does have a leg there. But as for defamatory, I don't think so, since it was part of just like an actual open investigation that was publicized. Plus, I don't really think you're going to win as a crypto company that actually did have tons and tons and tons of victims that lost money on it. Not in Texas. It's not illegal in Texas. Is that right? I didn't know that. CoffeeZilla's in Texas. Well, yeah, that's why that would be relevant to this. No, it's probably not about winning. It's probably just about strong-arming because Logan has significantly more money to hire a legal team and bully for a long, long time. You're definitely biased, though? I would have been super open to Logan Paul somehow figuring out, like, how to prove all of that wrong. It's just the evidence was, like, pretty tight. It wasn't just, like, circumstantial nonsense. It was, like, very thorough investigation, man. That's not bias. That's looking at evidence and seeing, this is, you know, not a lot of wiggle room, but I'm open to hearing. And I heard a couple of decent points. Granted, I don't think they're that strong overall, like, CoffeeZilla omitted that one of my core developers is actually a criminal. Like, okay, he didn't say that. You are right. CoffeeZilla probably knew this guy was a criminal and didn't bother mentioning it. Though I don't think mentioning it makes you look better. In fact, I think it really makes you look worse. You hired him. You did no amount of information gathering or background checking. But you're right. CoffeeZilla didn't mention that. That was omitted. Or CoffeeZilla not doing his research enough on this guy being a scammer. Fair enough. That is correct. He is not someone that should have been in the testimonials as one of the victims, though, even though he probably did lose money on it. It's a scammer who got scammed. It doesn't discount the rest of the people who gave testimonials that did lose money, but you focused on one who is a bad person, apparently. That's fair enough. Yeah, CoffeeZilla probably shouldn't have had him in the testimonials. And then the egg hatching thing. I believe there was evidence about the egg hatching not being functional fully when the game launched. And I think in CoffeeZilla's video, he did say, like, they did eventually try and get that working, but it's still not in a fully functional state. But those are, like, the only points. And then this call being illegally recorded, which apparently is not illegal in Texas. And then he confirms what CoffeeZilla confirmed about Jake stealing, Eddie stealing, and Jeff and Logan never selling. He confirmed that. So CoffeeZilla was right. I think that was it, right? There wasn't anything else. Yeah. And then it was just about him, like, saying, we're working our ass off, it's gonna come out, it's not a scam, without providing any information on what exactly they're gonna do differently. You're gonna hire more criminals? It's just scammers scamming scammers. Yeah. That's exactly what it was internally. Again, another thing he didn't address was all of the group chats that are now public. He didn't deny them either. He just legitimately didn't even bother talking about it. Or any of their internal memos about market manipulation. It's enough for his fans who didn't watch the coffee video, though. Yeah, it is going to be enough for the fans, and it's going to be enough for the CryptoZoo backers who are still holding on to that, like, false hope, but... Here, just going through Twitter takes real quick. This seems kind of representative of most of the hive mind on it, so I'm just going to read it. Though this is just one person's opinion, kind of echoed in different ways. Logan and his team need to be held accountable for picking horrible partners, but to say he scammed when he didn't sell is insane. Just because he didn't sell doesn't mean that it wasn't a scam. Tons and tons of people lost money, and his internal partners did sell, making millions. Who's to say Logan Paul wouldn't have sold if it kept going? Plus, all of the group chat that is now public seems to have confirmed that this whole thing was just all about making as much money as possible and as quickly as possible on a bad idea. Still a scam. Just because it didn't sell doesn't mean it's not a scam. You 100% was going to sell if it didn't happen. Yeah, but that's just speculation. I don't know. I don't know if he would have sold. I will say the reason, one thing that definitely contributed to not selling is after Jake sold and made $6 million, the price right in the shitter. So obviously he wasn't going to sell too. And then Eddie sold $1.7 million and then deeper into the shitter. So clearly he wasn't going to be selling regardless. I don't know if his intention was to sell, but it seems like the intention with the project, based on all of the group chats, was to make as much money off the audience as he could for the whole team. Didn't he make money from the egg sales? That I still don't really know. Even in CoffeeZilla, I was scratching my head because I don't know. I don't think you can say for sure whether or not he himself pocketed money off of the egg sales. That, I think, is still just kind of tough to say for certain. Watch the CoffeeZilla video now. It's a lot different with this context. What the fuck? He didn't context? What are you talking about? I guess in this one part where this guy giving his testimonial is untrustworthy, but other than that, it doesn't change the lens. The evidence is still there. He didn't tackle any of the evidence other than saying that one of them was unethically and illegally gathered through that recorded phone call. And that's really about it. Or that Z that he was talking to was actually a criminal that Logan hired. Like, it doesn't change the lens. How the fuck is Logan still sticking with Jeff? That I don't know. Jeff just sounds like an actually observable stupid man. Like an actual stupid idiot. I don't know why he keeps Jeff around. I don't. I really don't. I actually think Logan had no idea who was being hired. It was all Jeff, but Logan's gonna still take the fall for it because he just let Jeff run rampant like a dog off the leash. Hired 2 criminals, and then those criminals hired a criminal. So then eventually they hired all 3 fucking criminals. Like, I don't know why he keeps him around. He didn't say how it was a scam. I actually think a lot of children have too much easy access to the internet. What do you mean, explain how it was a scam? Like, what do you mean? The method of scamming was gathering as much money from people, talking about how fun this game is and how you can play to earn money on this game. And then the game comes out. The game isn't in a functional state for a while. Maybe it is now, perhaps. Logan seems to insinuate that it is functional. But regardless, it is worth nothing, meaning you did not play for a while, and now when you do play, you don't earn. So you just lose money. However, his team made, in total, $7.7 million off of selling. It's called Pump and Dump. Now, Logan and Jeff didn't sell. That is true. That didn't happen. But just because they didn't sell doesn't mean it wasn't a scam. There is a group chat where they were talking about money-making ways through the crypto space and copying a certain project that was very lucrative, and the entire conversation was always about making money off of Logan's audience. They then even get into market manipulation tactics, talking about what's an acceptable amount to sell on any given day to not influence price too much. It's a scam. That is a scam. I don't know why I needed to break it down into the Cliff Notes for you. I don't see why that was necessary. But I hope we're all on the same page now. Now, Logan Paul is denying that this was ever the case. So he's not like apologizing to all of the people that lost money or anything. He's saying that with this guy stealing the code, it was a huge setback, and there's just been so much going on behind the scenes, and then Jake tanking it, and then Eddie tanking it. It's just been hard to rebuild, but he's been working super hard to bring it back. But he still is missing the big problem. Nothing was communicated to the buyers. They have been left in the dark for over a year. Logan Paul has made 2 Discord messages in a year. One of them was, yo, and the other was, I'm sober, shake my head. He made a 3rd Discord message 2 days ago, right before posting this video. There's nothing being conveyed to all of those people that lost a ton of money. So even if it's not, even if Logan Paul never thought it was a scam, there were very real victims that lost very real money on this project, all because of him. Do you think Logan will actually follow through with his court thing? Yes. I think 100% Logan Paul will follow through with the court thing. He has significantly more money than CoffeeZilla. He doesn't even need to win in court. He just needs to bully him. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. 100%. Why do you think Coffee declined Logan's invite to the podcast? Because you got invited right before Christmas. And then again, right before New Year's. Who's going to want to fucking fly to LA for that on his podcast? Of course he's not doing that. CoffeeZilla also reached out saying, hey, let's just do it over a video call. Why did Logan decline a video call, which is significantly easier and more convenient? So he could try and intimidate him. There's plenty of reasons not to go on Logan's podcast to talk about it. I think the obvious one, Logan completely controls what actually makes it into the final cut. Like, there's nothing to be gained there. Why not just do it over a video call on a stream? Literally anything. CoffeeZilla offered just a full video voice call so they can talk about it, which is very convenient for both parties. Logan Paul didn't even mention Dink Doink. Like, yes, I know. We all know Logan Paul has had some very shady shit, but this was focused on CryptoZoo, and he didn't address the evidence-backed, all of the evidence-backed claims from CoffeeZilla. He focused on just a couple of nitpicks, really. And then the broader picture of, I didn't sell, and CryptoZoo's not supposed to be a scam, and I'm committed to making it real and work and fixing it. He just posted the CryptoZoo's Twitter for the first time in a year. Yeah, the timing is really weird. That is so odd that now all of a sudden he's all in on CryptoZoo despite radio silence for a year. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. You seem pretty biased. I'm so tired of that word losing all meaning. One side had evidence, the other side didn't. It's just that simple. I was very open to hearing how Logan Paul would attack the evidence, like maybe there was holes in it, maybe things are misconstrued or misrepresented, but he didn't. He didn't even address the things with actual substantial evidence. That's the whole thing. The word bias has lost all meaning right now. He discredited a witness, and that doesn't discredit him from being a victim of the scam, by the way. How many times do I have to say it? This guy, Emilio, can be a scammer himself, have a shady past, and still have been one of the many victims of CryptoZoo. It's not mutually exclusive. But yes, I agree. He should not have been in the testimonials for the victims. In fact, if he wasn't, Logan Paul would only have a single point in this video. Which is, you recorded my manager being a fucking idiot without his permission, and it's illegal somewhere. There would be absolutely no grounds at all for defamation. Plus, as he even mentions, he never made any money off CryptoZoo, allegedly. And he even says he never plans to make any money off CryptoZoo. When it comes to a defamation case, you have to prove damages. What was damaged? A reputational damage, I guess? Kind of a stretch, though, because the reputational damage is from the project failing, not so much CoffeeZilla's video. You would easily be able to argue that the actual reputational hit came from delivering or never delivering a product. I just feel like that's going to be tough. I like how he calls CoffeeZilla's videos an oversimplification when it's 3 parts of a year-long investigation and you release 7 minutes and don't debunk any of his claims. Yeah, he was the one that oversimplified the situation. Before being done with the topic, there's one more thing I'd like to say, and it's right
If I
here.
can help understand. For years of personal reform, going through trials and tribulations and busting my ass to evolve into a person that I can say I'm actually proud of, you led the charge to drive and monetize a narrative telling millions of people that I'm a fraud or I tried to scam my audience.
So, even before CoffeeZilla made this video, every single one of the investors of CryptoZoo felt like they had been scammed by a fraud named Logan Paul. CoffeeZilla told their story. They are real victims, lost real money on your project, and CoffeeZilla told their story and tried to give an explanation for what happened. This was not CoffeeZilla that started this. Even if one of those victims is shady himself, that doesn't discredit all of the other very real, normal audience members that lost money on your shit. Jake did nothing wrong, he was screwed over. There is no such thing as a Crypto King meat writer. There's no way I just read that. That has got to be a bot, no shot. That man is a serial scammer. Do I feel bad for Logan Paul and his team getting used by Jake? No, it's scammers scamming scammers. But Jake, the Crypto King, is legitimately one of the slimiest men the internet's ever had. He bounces from Pokemon scams right into NFT scams, CryptoZoo, like, the guy sucks. But at least in this case, he scammed scammers for the most part, but that also did have the impact on normal, real people who also lost money. So fuck him. He's not some Robin Hood who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. He stole from the rich and the poor and kept it for himself. I'm sure you've at least heard by now that Logan Paul was caught with his pants down, exposed for one of the largest scams ever run by an influencer. This was all brought to light by the finest detective YouTube has ever had, a channel known as CoffeeZilla. I've talked about CoffeeZilla more than Amy Schumer's talked about her vagina. I can't get enough of his content, and I can't recommend his channel highly enough. It is beautiful stuff. He's like a real-world L from Death Note. But instead of solving murder mysteries, he's solving scams. He's become a boogeyman to any fraudster online, where if he knocks on your door, they run to the basement and hide, like Batman striking fear into the hearts of criminals. And recently, he set his sights on Logan Paul. This is actually an investigation that's been going on for an extremely long time. CoffeeZilla has spent at least a year going through every single detail of this case and getting all sides, talking to the people that helped develop it, as well as people affected by it, and even core members of the team that were in the know on what was going on from the beginning of this project, from the goddamn birth of it, from the very beginning. CoffeeZilla has talked to one of the people that helped bring this project to life, like at the genesis of CryptoZoo. Now, to break it down into a nutshell, CryptoZoo was supposed to be a play-to-earn crypto game where you buy a shitcoin called Zoo, which you use to purchase an NFT egg, which hatches into stock photos of animals. And then you can like breed those stock photos of animals into more stock photos. That's the entire gameplay loop. You look at fucking PNG stock photos of animals that combine like a whale with a frog. That's it. And where you can earn money is by burning those PNGs that you get, and then you can get Zoo in return, claim your yield. It sounds like the worst game ever fucking made. It's a worse game than Super Fight, which was a $200 Steam game that was a single level and only 30 seconds of gameplay. I'd have more fun watching my own car catch on fire with all of my shit inside of it than playing CryptoZoo, but it was never designed to be a game that's fun to play. From the very beginning, it was clearly designed to be a money-making scam to exploit Logan Paul's massive audience. And the game also never even worked, and to this day, over a year later, still doesn't work. You were never able to actually play, and you were never able to actually earn. Unless, of course, you were one of the founders from the beginning. Because then, there were a couple of founders that made a lot of money, including a cameo from someone you might be familiar with from previous scams, Jake the Crypto King, known for his Pokemon scam back in the day. He's back. I said on stream that this whole thing feels like the series finale to Logan Paul's career, where all of the side characters come in together for one big final oorah, like an episode where they bring in everyone to celebrate the end of the show. It is crazy just how deep this CryptoZoo rabbit hole goes. I don't want to spoil anything, But yes, Agent 47 is back, and he is once again a very shady and big piece of shit in this whole thing. There are no good guys on the Compilation team. I don't want to get too deep into it because CoffeeZilla tells the whole story, but let me just give you the cliff notes here to get you hooked. This not only has scams galore, it even has fake orphans. It has a man who claims to have won the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2018, despite never having even been associated with football in any capacity. The same guy also claiming to have been like a CIA operative, as well as hacking AOL. There's market manipulation. There's betrayal with the founding fathers of Compilation stabbing each other in the back repeatedly. It just plays out like a soap opera, but was real. Like, even the scammers were scamming each other. So not only were normal people getting fucked in the mouth and losing money on this completely fraudulent product, but even the scammers were scamming each other. Like, it was just pure pandemonium and chaos. There was even a point where the code got stolen and taken to Switzerland, held hostage for $1 million ransom. Like, the web here is so wild and wacky. It is an unreal journey, and I don't want to spoil it all here. I highly recommend you watch the entire 3-part series from CoffeeZilla. I'm only going to be showing you the first part here that I watched and went over to get the bare bones breakdown of the situation, as well as setting the stage, the foundation for the whole investigation going forward. It is just such an incredible ride. CoffeeZilla has truly outdone himself with this investigation, and I'm extremely excited to see how Logan Paul defends it, because the evidence that CoffeeZilla showcases seems pretty bulletproof. It seems like there's not a whole lot of wiggle room for excuses or any kind of justification for anything in regards to Compilation. But, of course, on January 3rd, Logan Paul has hyped up that his response is coming on his podcast, which to me just feels like an advertisement more than anything. But I will, of course, withhold full judgment until I hear his side, since he hasn't been very open to sharing his side for the last year. This has been like my most anticipated show of the entire year. CoffeeZilla's 3-part deep dive into Logan Paul's crypto scam, Compilation. So I'm extremely excited, and I'm super happy to see CoffeeZilla go so hard on this. He's gained like almost 400,000 subs since posting these videos, something like that, and he deserves it. I know he spent quite a few months investigating this. I know he's also reached out to Logan Paul numerous times to try and get his side of the story, but has been dodged and ducked every single time until he finally posted this video. I saw Logan Paul's tweet saying, actually I'll just pull it up instead of paraphrasing. He did the standard, "I used to love CoffeeZilla, and I always think he gets everything right. Until now." Now he fucked up. Like, this is very cookie cutter. Somehow, every single time CoffeeZilla talks about some kind of big scam like this is always the response. While I generally appreciate Steven's creative genius and exceptional work ethic, I mean that, this one is simply not true. When appropriate, all bad actors will be exposed, explained, and held fully accountable. I'll speak further on Impulsive January 3rd, which to me reads more like an advertisement for his podcast than anything. But I always just love this first line, because this is boilerplate at this point. This is what everyone says when CoffeeZilla makes a video about them. A creative genius, one of the best in the business. Ace detective, like Benoit Blanc. But this time he fucked up, trust me. This time he's wrong.
I lost $25,000. $120,000.
This is absolutely shocking to me. These aren't children. You're telling me these adults watch Logan Paul? Or did they had to have just heard about this from like crypto subreddits, discords, all trying to like hype train the shit out of this? I refuse to believe that this is Logan Paul's audience. No fucking shot.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in Compilation.
Shut up!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 500K.
Oh, no. Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's
Yikes.
Compilation, a
Oh my
blockchain
God.
game that made millions but never worked. And of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul himself, who has abandoned this
WWE
thing, leaving
superstar,
thousands of
baby.
fake orphans in his wake. Wait a second. Thousands of victims in his wake.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. We have a massive team behind it. And
Real quick, you might be asking yourself, well, what experience does Logan Paul have with NFTs? And that's a great question to be asking, and I have the answer. He was actually a pioneer in NFTs, and in fact still has some of the best NFTs of all time, such as are these still up on OpenSea? Well, here's his NFT Pokemon cards. Beautiful stuff. Obviously, very high quality stuff, and I mean only $10,000 for that, so I mean reasonably priced as well. Where are his... He used to sell clips. So you could pay thousands of dollars to get an NFT clip of him boxing. Which was a fucking bargain. Honestly, just giving it away at that price. You get like 15-second Twitter clips of his boxing matches. Where are they?
September 1st, cryptozoo.co. We don't scam. I've never scammed anyone before. Logan cares extremely deeply about his audience, loves his brand, doesn't have to scam to make money.
True, but you make a lot of money doing it, I imagine, so.
Welcome to part
The cookie
one,
jar
the
was too
million-dollar
appealing.
mystery that began this whole story.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project. I think there needs to be a fresh take, and this project that I have is that fresh take.
Now look, at first,
Yep,
I was
let's
just as
go.
surprised at this pitch as anyone else because I just got finished roasting Logan for a different coin called Dink Doink, which is fans
Doink.
lose money on.
I'm a Dink Doink fan.
And it wasn't even a project at all. It was a game that could earn you money.
I'm excited to launch.
Called Pay to
You
Earn.
keep using a, and you
Or,
just did it
Jesus,
again, you keep
play to
using a
earn.
word there. Game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo coins to then buy egg NFTs, which you can then hatch to become animals. You then can breed those two animals to become hybrid animals. For example, if you breed a gorilla,
What a fun
and a
sounding
kitten, you
game.
get a gore kitty. And the more rare the NFT, the
I get to
higher the
breed
daily
animals?
yield
Sign
of
me
Zoo
up.
tokens that animal earns you every day. Theoretically, it works like almost like passive income. You can then burn your animal NFTs to release the Zoo they earned back to you, and from there you can invest it into eggs or just cash out. Now, some of you of the Egyptian persuasion might notice some triangular qualities.
No, that's a
to this game
coincidence.
description.
We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art for our project.
That doesn't
I'll
sound like a
admit,
lot of artists.
This all sounds
for that.
very enticing. Handmade art, a
Not
fun
really.
game that can earn
Doesn't
you money.
sound
and
enticing.
one of the biggest influencers in the world backing it.
It was Logan Paul at the end of the day. An internet personality that I actually trusted. That I actually
Why?
kind of
What did...
believed in.
Obviously,
Well,
when
I feel terrible that that happened to you, but what? What in the history of Logan Paul has earned anyone's trust ever? Like, I can't think of anything he's ever done that was honest. Like, I legitimately can't. Except for him saying that he made a repeated lapse in his judgment when he filmed a dead body. Like, that's like the only thing I can think of with like honesty associated with Logan Paul. But yeah, I mean, Prime did come out. I've tried it. I mean, it's a real drink. I wasn't instantly poisoned or anything. It was fine. I actually thought it was good. But I'm just going to chalk that up to KSI. I'm just going to say KSI did everything because I legitimately have no trust in Logan.
But as the game got closer to release, the CryptoZoo team started releasing the first ever photos of these animals. And come to find out, this handmade art story wasn't really true. It was actually Adobe stock photos mashed together. This was the sort of first red flag of this project.
Hey!
And I made a video about it at the time, but it was kind
Let's
of
go.
surface level, and something
what the
didn't
fuck?
add up beneath the surface. Something where I just couldn't. And it's not handmade at all. It's not even original. It's what's called a fork, a copy of, you know, some other code that exists out there. One of them is called Floki Shib X, which launched before it. So where'd this $1 million go? I didn't understand.
There never was.
Wait. Play that again. Did you hear that?
There was no way to claim your yield. There never was.
Hold on.
I can't
the core
believe it.
mechanic of crypto
What?
that you can make money with these stupid
No.
animals didn't even work on launch day, and still to this day, a year later, still does not work.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs, and I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's
I am sorry this happened to you, my friend. What compelled you to want to play this game? There is no game. The game is you buy an egg, and then we give you a stock photo of what this animal might look like with a goofy nose. What is the game? Like, the only reason anyone would have ever put money into this is off the hope that they're somehow able to make a payday out of it. Like, cash in their yield for some kind of profit. There is no, like, actual game mechanics. It is, here's a couple pictures you can look at. That's it. That's fucking it. Just the worst Pokemon. It's not even a Pokemon at all. Like, even, let's take a card game. Even a card game has game mechanics. You play against someone, there is a goal, there is something you do, there is an actual gameplay element to it. Here, the gameplay is you hatch an egg, and we combine this photo of a moose with a photo of my cat. And that's it. And now you have played our game, and now you can either choose to keep that picture and hope it appreciates in value, you know, yield some more zoo, or you burn it to acquire your zoo. Those are your two options, neither of which constitute a game. Jesus Christ.
It's never been up.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture. There's nothing I could do with it.
You're kidding!
That's the whole game. It's just a picture. Even when you can hatch, it's just another picture.
You can ask any of those community guys. It's basically worth nothing whatsoever.
Wow. So on launch day, basically nothing worked. And a year later, that's still true. Now, after this was discovered, the price of Zoo fell 63% in just 24 hours. CryptoZoo already got millions in investments, but Logan only speaks in the Discord twice over the next year to say, quote, sober, currently shaking my head, and yo. That was his contribution to this project. Meanwhile, his community manager, Ben Roth.
Because surely Logan Paul, who's got this billion-dollar hydration company and a WWE star, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to rug us lot.
And it's because of these false promises about marketing that these poor investors believed in CryptoZoo so long. They sat and watched every Logan Paul episode. It actually is very
impressive how far you can get when people just believe that you're too wealthy to exploit them. Like, if someone just believes you have so much money, that for some reason makes you trustworthy. That's wild to me, because I'd always think it's the fucking opposite.
Too much of this is out, but he's been working on a massive project.
And one of them will be the biggest thing I ever do. It's like my life and soul is put into this project, which is where most of my time these days goes.
I'll tell you about this project when we get closer to launch. This project of mine is going to be...
Is that the thing with the egg? Like the zoo?
No.
Okay, that's
this is gonna be this is crazy.
No, that shit sucks. That shit is garbage. I can't believe you guys bought that.
If you're one of
Holy
these
fuck, it was awful.
And Logan Paul
brought up the egg?
pitching this
That was a
new
joke.
secret project, and you're thinking it's CryptoZoo, and someone's like, "Oh, is it that thing with the eggs?" And he's like, "No, definitely not. That was the last project. This is the real project that I'm working on."
Much going on behind the scenes. Like, Doug, I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
There's some actual out there.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I'm here to build.
Oh, okay.
Well, now
that's
a lot of people
okay. Well, now I believe you.
Dollar signs. Like any burgeoning industry, if there's money to be made, there's going to be both good and bad people.
Okay, well, at least we set the record straight.
Space. I'm learning all of it. We had an issue. Took the code that he made, fled to Switzerland, and like held it hostage for $1 million. Like behind the scenes drama that took a stick and stuck it in the spokes of my wheels.
Oh, well, that wasn't expected. There's a shady developer who held up Logan's code hostage in Switzerland. That's why this hasn't worked the whole time. He held it hostage for $1 million. Well, and find out the truth of what happened. Why did he steal Logan's code for $1 million? However,
that's what I really appreciate about CoffeeZilla. He's such a stronger man than I. That is like the most egregiously bullshit story ever. Like, genuinely, I don't believe a single fucking phrase uttered in that same breath. I don't think there's any world where that's actually true, but CoffeeZilla is still going to investigate it anyway.
I finally got a hold of him, and when I did, he
it's true.
He
no
took the code
way.
Hostage, but he says the reason for it was nothing like what Logan had said.
What?
They never paid me anything at all, ever. I never was paid. And, we got to a point when I was working on it where I just realized they were just going to try to steal all of my work and not pay me. And so I took all the source code private. 30 engineers. I'm earning $50,000 a week on the building this thing.
What? Building what? You take a picture and you have your stock photos that you mash together to make a new picture when it hatches. Where is $50,000 a week going? Where? How? Holy shit, this is outrageous. But I am beyond shocked that this is at least a half-truth. So the guy did flee to Switzerland after holding the code hostage, but it was because Logan didn't pay him, or the team. So he was telling a half-truth on the situation. I can't believe any part of it was true. That is already quite the twist for me.
According to him, they negotiated a $1 million payday for this whole project. And from the second I heard that, I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Logan claims he spent $1 million on this whole thing. And this developer saying he's owed $1 million on this.
We've been paid nothing. I would have loved to have Zoo, but I don't have any.
So that's multiple sources working on the CryptoZoo team project who were not paid. Now, obviously, these are big accusations, which is why I wanted to confront Logan Paul on them. But unfortunately, we're not exactly on speaking terms. So I wonder, how could I speak to Logan without speaking to Logan? Logan Paul's manager, a guy named Jeff Levin.
Oh, Jeff.
He might be just what we need to settle this whole thing. So I gave him a call.
Hello?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Steven with CoffeeZilla. I'm calling because I've heard reports that CryptoZoo hasn't paid their development team, and I'm just reaching out for comment before I do this story. I just want to follow up on that.
I have no comment for it.
Okay,
oh, well, fair enough.
Are you guys denying it, or are you saying it's not true?
Just no comment. I don't think that the information is true.
You guys have a whole side to
your
story here.
Your job as someone that is reporting news is to actually verify correct news.
Well, that's
why I'm calling you.
I know, and that's legal grounds for that stuff. So I'm just telling you, legally, you have to report correct news with verifiable information.
Right, that's why I'm calling you.
As we've been advised always, is if anybody reports fake news, that's where we won't.
Then set the record straight. What? Is everyone around Logan just a fucking idiot? Like an actual bumbling buffoon? Huh? That is why he called you. You could have absolutely just, if it's not true, shut it down. Or tell him, yeah, it's not true. I wasn't aware of this. We can go ahead and get some material together to prove that it's all fake. Bang. Right then and there. You don't have to immediately tell CoffeeZilla all the evidence or anything. Just say like, hey, it's not true. If you can give us some time, we can get together all the material and send it your way to prove that they're being dishonest about the information. Simple. Jesus Christ, Logan, hire me as your manager. Jesus. Could have saved you a massive fucking headache if this is all fake. How can you be so dumb?
A mess. Jeff, Logan's manager, seems to be implying that I'm not allowed to repeat allegations his own development team made, even though Logan can go on podcasts and publicly accuse those developers of stealing his code. Not only that, he's the one who refuses to provide any evidence, but seems to sort of be implying that maybe we'll sue you if you tell this to anyone, which he then denies doing when I ask him if that's what he's doing.
Told you I have no comment to it. Telling you once again, from a legal standpoint, you have to report truth. If you do not
is this an
verify
NPC?
truth,
Why does he keep saying this?
Then you're just allegations, and those then will be handled the way that we want to handle it.
Okay. I understand you may have graduated Arizona State with the business degree, but holy shit, that is not being put to good use here, Jeff. You must have fallen ass backwards into this position. He is calling you so that way you can defend against the allegations. You don't have to do it right now on the phone call. Just say they're not true, and we will defend them. And here's our evidence. We can eventually get you our evidence. It is that simple. Like, it is that fucking simple. How dumb is this guy? Like, oh my god. He is calling you because he is trying to verify it as a trustworthy source. He wants the whole story. And how the fuck else is he supposed to verify it without talking to you? The team, the people behind it, the ones who now have the allegations. You are the only ones that can verify the authenticity of the claims. He can't go to the Better Business Bureau, who's somehow going to be having all the fucking answers to this. This guy is so dumb. He is so unbelievably dumb. And then making that like a sly little threat about it. He's Logan Paul's actual punching bag. He has to just keep Jeff around just to take all of the flack. That's got to be the only reason. He's like a little public spittoon for Logan Paul. Oh, what? No, I would have absolutely denied these things. Oh, that's just Jeff. Jeff, man, he's so fucking dumb. Yeah, no, oh my God, I can't believe Jeff. What a silly guy.
I have no comment on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Good defense.
Your job legally is to report facts. If you don't report facts on the information you're given, it is illegal.
It's not. You can report allegations. That's the whole fucking point of an allegation. He's not saying it's the truth. He is saying they're allegations, and he wants to verify, are these allegations accurate or are they inaccurate? You can absolutely talk about allegations.
Who is he? Who is Eddie Ibanez?
It's a made-up name. That's a made-up name,
hi,
isn't it?
My name's Eddie Ibanez, lead developer here at Crypto0.
Oh,
This
never mind.
reporter said
Damn,
Eddie's
thought it was going to be
entire
a crazy
story
plot twist.
is fake. Wait, what?